I'm Beth Herbster, a local real estate agent right here in upstate South Carolina, and I make these videos to educate people who are considering moving here, as well as general real estate education. Before I start, let me state that all builders are different and not created equal, so this information may vary from state to state, builder to builder, even the same builder that are building multiple communities, depending on the location. I'm also going to be referencing Tract Home or national builders, not custom builders. So, with that said, let's get into it. I think one of the biggest pros to new construction are the incentives that I'm seeing a lot of builders use in today's market. One very attractive incentive that is being advertised is lower interest rates. I've seen as low as 4.99 on a 30-year fixed mortgage when the Fed rates are currently at 6.5, 6.7 or higher. This is because builders have the capital to buy rate packages or buy a rate block from their preferred lenders and use that to buy rates down to incentivize buyers. Now, there are requirements by the lender to qualify for those advertised rates, so you need to apply and close with that lender to get the advertised lower rate. Also, the rate block money eventually runs out or gets used up. So, another builder incentive I've seen many offer is closing cost incentives, or sometimes they call it flex money. This is a certain dollar amount set by the builder that the builder can use for different things the builder approves those funds can be used towards. I've seen anywhere from $10,000 to $7,000 or even $5,000. And some examples of how those funds could be used are to lower the price of the home, closing costs paid for by the builder, so it would cover your attorney fees or lender fees. It can also be used towards rate buy downs if they weren't offering lower rates to begin with. Usually there are requirements to qualify for these incentives, and most builders require the buyer to use the builder's closing attorney and preferred lender. I know of one builder who, as long as you use their closing attorney, you can choose your own lender and still be eligible for their incentives, which is great. I wish more builders were on board with that option. Another pro to buying a new construction home is the home's warranty and minimal maintenance. Because your home is newly built, you're starting with everything new, versus a resale home that might be 5 to 10 years old already or even older. So even though it's new to you, there might be some initial repairs that need to be made shortly after moving in. Most builders on new construction offer a home warranty or use the industry term bumper-to-bumper warranty. This usually means everything inside the home that would be considered cosmetic or handyman repairs is covered for a year. So things like wonky cabinet doors or drawers, nail pops in the wall, a blinky light or light fixture, little things like that are covered in that 1-year home warranty. And as the house settles, these little things will become visible or apparent. So you as the homeowner have within the first year after closing to submit a request to the builder's home warranty department. What I recommend my clients do is to keep a running list of these little things and the location that these things are occurring in. And you can just keep it in a junk drawer or somewhere handy. Then set a phone reminder to day 1 of the 11th month after closing to submit the list of requested items. Again, depending on the terms of the warranty, and make sure you ask for a copy of it, which they usually give you at closing. But some warranties state that you can submit requests as many times in the first year as needed. But other home warranties only allow a one-time submission of requests. So pay close attention to those dates, because once you hit day 1 of the 12th month after closing, then you're out of that year window to ask for requested repairs. So that's why I suggest setting a reminder in your phone on day 1 of the 11th month to submit the list that you've made to the home warranty department. Another reason to wait until the last month is if you only get one shot at that repairs request, you want to give the house time to settle and go through all the different seasons. If you make the request too soon, things might happen after that one-time submission. Then you as the homeowner would be responsible for getting those repaired. Okay, so you also have a 2-year coverage on systems and anything behind the walls. So think of things like electrical, plumbing, HVAC systems. Of course, you don't have to wait 2 years if you have an issue to report, but the builder will cover anything within 2 years from closing. Finally, you have a 3 to 10 year part that covers anything structural, including the roof. Now, if you do any of your own modifications, for example, if you paint or have an electrician come in and hang lights or add a sink in a bathroom, then that could void those warranties offered by the builder. Also, if your new home comes with appliances, and most come with at least a stove or dishwasher, and sometimes a new fridge or a built-in microwave, those appliances are covered under the manufacturer's warranty. You do have to register the appliances after closing, but in a resale home, you don't have security on appliances usually, pending their age. The best pro, in my opinion, is that you get to pick out and personalize your home. Most builders offer different house plans, elevations, and finishing packages for homes to be built in the neighborhood. You as the buyer can pick out your lot and lot location and then select from a list of different house plans. They usually feature these floor plan options on their websites. Some builders will have one floor plan that offers different build-out options. An example, when we built our home, we had the option to add a bonus room, which we didn't, and have either a dining room or an additional bedroom, and we chose an additional bedroom. Once you have your floor plan picked out, you can choose from finishing packages or add-ons. This is where you get to pick out all your lighting fixtures, your paint colors, your cabinets, countertops, and your flooring. Most builders have specific packages like this brown or white cabinet with this quartz or granite countertop options. Then some builders allow you to go to a design center and pick out everything from shingle colors to sink faucets, and you usually have many more options with these builders. Many builders have smart home and energy saving features. So things like tankless water heaters and smart home thermostats. So with the new construction, you can really make your new home your own by being able to have choices on lots, floor plans, and finishes. Now, let's talk about some cons to new construction. Just kidding. These are just things to consider. The first being what I mentioned earlier about builder incentives. Often these incentives tie you to or require you to use the builder's preferred closing attorney and or lender. In the state of South Carolina, legally the buyer has the right to choose who they want as a closing attorney and who they want to use as a lender. If the builder requires their preferred vendors to be used to access the incentives, then you're almost relinquishing your right to choose. Of course, you can still use whoever you want to for closing and a lender, you just wouldn't be eligible for those incentives that they offer. Their vendors might be perfectly fine to use. However, they may have higher closing costs associated or less competitive rates or lending options that they offer. I always suggest my clients shop around, especially for lenders, because you may or may not be truly getting $5,000 to $10,000 in closing costs or incentives. The cost of the loan, interest rates, or using the builder's preferred lender might equate to breaking even versus another lender that might actually be able to get a better rate that would save you more than $5,000 or $10,000 over the lifetime of that loan. I always tell my clients to compare the numbers and go from there. I, as an agent, also try to negotiate a tangible dollar value incentive, like a refrigerator or blinds package, versus $10,000 in closing costs, because it's hard to see and track where that $10,000 is going to or coming from that the builder is providing. I also don't usually suggest my clients take it off the price of the home unless you're paying cash, because for every $1,000 in price, it's only $5 to $10 difference in the monthly mortgage. So a $10,000 price reduction is only $50 to $100 difference in your monthly mortgage, which isn't that big of a cost savings compared to a new refrigerator you'd have to pay $1,200 or more out of pocket for. If the builder gives the buyer a set dollar amount and options on how to spend said dollar amount, I suggest using it to buy an appliance package or to buy down a rate, since those things are more dollar for dollar tangible. Sometimes the same builder will offer different incentives to move their inventory of homes, and that could vary across the board from neighborhood to neighborhood. I always verify for my clients what the incentives are for that neighborhood and when they expire, because the builder could change or cancel those anytime, any day. The second con to new construction is little wiggle room for negotiating in general. They are a business, so there are no feelings when negotiating with builders. They are mostly focused on their bottom line and how much they make off each home they sell versus their cost to build that home. Usually they have a specific contract that they use that is designed mostly to protect them, and there is little to no room with negotiating changes to that contract. In resale, there is a state contract used that is standard and offers more options for negotiating terms between the buyer and seller. To sum it up, a builder's contract basically says if the builder delays or doesn't close on time, that's okay. But if the buyer can't close or holds up closing, they'll be held responsible, and at a minimum, their earnest money will not be returned. When buying a resale home, most, if not all, terms are negotiable between buyers and sellers. For example, in a resale contract, earnest money usually is 1 to 2% of the purchase price, but can be negotiated to be more or less, pending other variables of the contract and the home's condition. It is also usually held by a broker or an attorney. If either the buyer or seller decide to back out of the contract, if both parties don't agree how to disperse the funds, they both have to go to court and a judge will decide on how the funds are allocated. With new construction, earnest money can be anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000 and is held by the builder or a closing attorney, but usually the builder. If the buyer decides to walk, good luck getting your earnest money back. Now, if it's a huge issue and clearly the builder's at fault and they can't or won't fix something, then you might be able to ask for that earnest money and get it back. Again, that contract and those terms are written in a way that favors or protects the builder from liability. Let's briefly mention the on-site agents. They are hired and work for the builders, and their job is to keep the builder's best interest at the forefront of the transaction. So you, as the buyer, need someone who is on your side and will represent you and your best interests. Hi, that's me. It's very important if you're working with an agent that you let the on-site agent know immediately at the first point of contact. I always advise my clients to never just drop in a community, or if they do, give me a heads up and let me reach out to the on-site agent for the builder to schedule an appointment. I have a contact person with each builder in the area, and by me reaching out on your behalf, this ensures you're getting someone that I know and trust on the other side. My builder partners have worked with me and past clients and know how I do business and what my expectations are for the transactions and for my clients. By having me on your side, that gives you a voice and representation with the builder. The final con, as I mentioned before, is most builders aren't fully custom home builders. So while you may have the option to pick out floor plan features and finishes, there are still a few non-negotiables. For example, you can't move walls or change the architectural design of the existing floor plans. You don't get to choose if you want gas or electric stoves or water heaters. Now, some homes do offer gas utilities, but if it isn't offered and you want it, it has to be available or you have to pay for it to be installed after closing, and that can be pricey. If you purchase a spec home from a builder, which is a floor plan that the builder has already spec'd out for a certain lot, they've already picked out the finishes and ordered the design features, then you usually don't get to change anything prior to closing. Remember what I said earlier about picking out your lot location? You can, but it usually comes with an additional charge for the good lots. A good lot can be lots that are perceived to have or have more value or are more desirable. For example, larger lots, lots on a cul-de-sac, lots that back up to trees or that don't have another lot or neighbor directly behind them, and lots that are closer to amenities like the pool. These will have what the builders call lot premiums, so an additional cost associating with building on those lots that is added to the price of the home. Some communities only offer certain floor plans to be built on certain lots. This is because depending on the size of the lot and the specs of the home's floor plan, it has to fit on the lot and meet the required specs for the neighborhood. So they may have 10 different floor plans on their website, as I mentioned earlier, but they only offer 5 of the 10 in that specific neighborhood. When they advertise a community with homes for sale starting in the low 200s, they usually are referencing the builder's base price, which is usually the smallest floor plan and the most basic finishes with 0 upgrades or additions. Everything extra is at an additional cost and is an add-on to the total price of the home. So, what do you think? Are you a person that would lean more towards a new construction home or a resale home? If you have any additional questions about new construction homes versus resale homes, feel free to comment below or contact me directly. If you found value in this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Whether you're looking to move now or later, I hope this channel can be your guide to the upstate. See you in the next video.